what are the documents required to support your express entry application. This guide is called Application for Permanent Residence Program subject to express entry completeness check. This is IRCC's instructions. Now guys, if you're living in Canada, you don't need a police certificate from Canada, but this gives you an idea of what is required for an express entry application. If you're planning to apply, Express Entry is Canada's flagship immigration program. It is one of those programs that sets an example for the entire world from Canada's point of view. A lot of folks get invited under Express Entry, a lot of folks target Express Entry, and a lot of folks are planning to target Express Entry going forward. In such a situation, what are the documents required to support your Express Entry application? How to compile your Express Entry application document package, and how to ensure that you submit a proper application for express entry. This is what we're going to talk about in this video in detail. So stay tuned until the end of this video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Dhruv. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant at our firm FHCN. We assist all prospective immigrants with their immigration to Canada. If you are an aspirant, you need assistance, here is our contact information. Feel free to contact us and we will be happy to assist you. If you would like to talk to me or any other RCIC in our team, you can book an appointment. The link to book an appointment is in the description of this video, along with many other useful links that you may find helpful. Now, going into the details of the documentation required for an express entry application, before we do that, let's quickly answer the comment of this week. This comment comes on our video on postgraduate work permit extension due to passport expiry. And the question is, do we need to submit our passport or a photocopy or a print of passport is enough? Excellent question for an extension application. For that matter, any application to IRCC, you don't need to submit your original passport. Just a photocopy of the bio pages of the passport is enough. You don't need to submit the original passport unless IRCC sends you a passport request. Only in that case you need to submit the passport. And for a PGWP extension, that won't be the case. You won't be issued a passport request. You just make an application for extension with the copy of the bio pages of the passport, and that should be it. I hope this helps. Now let's talk about documentation required for your express entry application. So guys, in this video we're going to go through a step-by-step instruction on how you can prepare your documentation for every single aspect of your application, for every single upload. What are the documents required and what you need to upload? Let's go over that. So here on the screen, you can see the official guide for express entry completeness. Now guys, this guide is called Application for Permanent Residence Program subject to express entry completeness check. This is IRCC's instructions. As you can see, this section contains policy, procedure, and guidance used by IRCC staff. It is posted on department's website as a courtesy to stakeholders. So guys, this is the guide on the basis of which IRCC officers operate for express entry. Now guys, this talks about that you have to submit a complete application. Express entry is governed by completeness check, and hence you need to submit a complete application. If the application is incomplete, IRCC returns the application at first stage as incomplete, and that is the end of your application. You have to go back into the pool. Now guys, this document talks about all the necessary documents. Well, not all the documents would apply to you, but we would go over each document step by step, and we would take a look at what is required for that particular document. And if you watch this video till the end and you receive an ITA, you would be able to definitely know what documentation you need to upload for your particular case. Again guys, this may not be a fully exhaustive list, but it gives you an idea on what needs to be uploaded in order to submit your express entry application. So first of all, it says that a personalized document checklist is produced for each applicant when they submit their e-APR through their online account. This checklist identifies the specific supporting documents required from each family member included on the application. Now guys, first of all, in express entry, when you make your application, when you create your application, there is a personalized checklist that is generated for you. This personalized checklist is based on how you answer the questions in the application, and on the basis of that, a set of documents appear that you need to upload. Now, in express entry, the checklist is pretty good. Usually it suggests the documents that are required based on what you said and what points you're claiming, and in most cases it is pretty exhaustive. However, in certain cases you may need a few more documents, but it is very rare. Only if you need additional explanations you may need to add more documents, but mostly that checklist that is generated by the system is pretty good. Okay, so the next thing is translation of documents. For any document that is not in English or French, you need to provide the following. First of all, an English or French translation stamped by a certified translator. Now guys, you need the translation, but the translation package should also include a copy of the original document that was used by the translator. This must be included, guys. So not just the translation, you also need to include the original document. Just including translation is not enough. And again, scan of the original document or a scan of the certified copy of the original document. And at the end, you need to provide the original document. Now guys, this section talks about mandatory documents for all the applicants who apply under Express Entry. The first thing we talk about here is the medical exam. Now there was a policy that was exempting folks from doing upfront medical. However, starting August 21, 2025, you need to provide upfront medical exam. If the upfront medical exam is not provided, as it says over here, as the department transitions back to the upfront medical requirement, we expect to receive some applications without medical examination. If no IME was provided, processing officer should conduct an integrated search for any previously completed IMEs and associate the IME to the application accordingly. Processing officers should then review and apply the temporary public policy if the applicant is eligible. If no IMA is found and TPP can't be applied, instruction to undergo a medical exam should be found. So basically this says that, you know, there was a public policy that said that if you've done a medical in the last 5 years, you are exempt from doing another medical if you're applying from inside Canada, along with certain other conditions. However, if you don't meet that, then they will send you the instruction, but an upfront medical should be submitted. So please don't make the mistake of not doing it if you are not exempt from doing one. All right, so in order to do that, you need the medical exam e-medical receipt along with which has the UMI or the IME number. This is for your medical. Then let's go to police certificates. Now guys, this is very important. The police certificate, basically the system will generate the upload field for the police certificate based on the personal history, travel history, and the address history provided by the applicant. So based on what you provide in these sections, a police certificate may be requested, but officer can also request a new or additional police certificate from the applicant. So if officer believes that you have stayed at some place or you have lived in a country and they need a police certificate from there, they can request you by all means. So guys, this part is very important for a police certificate. Now before we proceed guys, I would like to request you to quickly subscribe to the channel. You subscribing to the channel can help us stay motivated, continue creating informational content that can help you and all your friends. So please subscribe right now. For your country of residence, the police certificate should have been issued no more than 6 months before the application. Now guys, if you're living in Canada, you don't need a police certificate from Canada, but say you're applying from a foreign country, you are say living in India and you're applying for a Canadian permanent residence, your PCC from India should not be more than 6 months old. This is the first thing, case number one. Second case is for countries in which applicants no longer resides, the police certificate must have been issued after the last time applicant stayed in that country for 6 months or more in a row. Now guys, if you're not residing in that country, you need the police certificate after last time you stayed in that country for 6 months or more in a row. Now, if you obtained a police certificate before leaving that country, then that's a problem because you got it before you left that country. You need that police certificate after you left that country if you're not living in that country anymore. So please make sure you don't make this mistake because that can be a problem when you submit your Express Entry application. Third is police certificates meeting the above requirements can be accepted even if they have an expiry date that has passed. Again, dependent on if you are not living in that country and if you've not lived in that country for 6 months or more in a row after the police certificate is issued, then that police certificate is valid even if it's more than 6 months old or it has expired. This includes requirements to provide a police certificate for countries in which applicant has traveled for 6 months or more in a row, whether or not individual had established residential address during this time. Now, this is very important. You may not have residence in that country, but if you have lived in that country even as a tourist for 6 months or more, you will need a police certificate. Police certificates are required upfront and are mandatory for each country except Canada, where an individual has spent 6 months or more in a row within the last 10 years. Individual does not need to provide any police certificate for any time before the age of 18. So only for the time after 18 you need to provide PCC. Police certificates need to be a scan of the original in color. Certified true copies and unauthorized copies are unacceptable and will result in application being returned as incomplete. Now guys, this is very important. You need to scan the police certificate, the original police certificate in color. Please don't provide them certified copies or other kind of notarized documents. They are not acceptable. Alright guys, so this was the police certificate. Now it talks about if say you are not able to get police certificate in exceptional circumstances, you need to provide proof of having requested a police certificate for some countries and an explanation of best efforts. Again, you need to explain why there's a delay, what have you done, have you applied, if yes, provide proof. Then you talk about why there's a delay, why you cannot provide upfront PCC with the application, and you submit it with your application. Next is your passport. This is straightforward, so you need to provide biographical page of your passport. Next is work experience. For the work experience, this is important. You need to prove your work experience, and for work experience you need a reference letter from the employer, which should be on official document printed on the company letterhead. It should include your name, your company's contact information, address, telephone number, email address, name and title and signature of the immediate supervisor or personnel at the company. It should indicate all positions held when you were employed at that company and must include the details about job title, duties, responsibilities, job status, dates worked for the company, number of hours worked per week, and annual salary plus benefits. Okay, so all of this needs to go. If you are self-employed, you need to provide evidence of self-employment that can include articles of incorporation, other evidence of business ownership, evidence of self-employment income, documentation from third-party individuals indicating that you provided them a service for the time period that you are claiming. Now, basically, again, these documents almost every express entry applicant would require until now. Now comes the documents which are mandatory if they are applicable, and that includes birth certificate. So you need to provide birth certificate for your children. You need to be able to prove your children's relationship to you, and for that you need their birth certificate. And this is only required if you have dependent children. If you don't, then you don't need. So a lot of times there is a confusion that is a birth certificate required for express entry? Well, the answer is no. All right, proof of studies. Guys, this one is the most important, and oftentimes it can be cause of refusal for a lot of people, is the proof of studies document. Now, the first thing here is when you're claiming points for education, you need to provide documents related to proof of studies. So to confirm education claims and validate the applicant meets the program requirements for the proof of studies. And the document is to receive program specific points for education, applicant must provide proof of having completed a Canadian secondary or post-secondary education or obtain an ECA from the foreign education that they have completed. Now, proof of completed Canadian or foreign education credentials can include copy of a secondary or post-secondary education document, certificate, diploma, or degrees. Certificate, diploma, or degrees, that is the proof. Transcripts or completion letters are not. You need to include certificate, diploma, degrees, and transcripts for successfully completed secondary or post-secondary studies if available. So if applicable, if available, you can provide transcripts, but that's not mandatory. What is mandatory is certificates, degrees, or diplomas. Then applicants must provide the DLI for the Canadian institute where they studied, and again, this is done in the application itself. In cases where applicants' background information suggests that a Canadian education may have been obtained via distance learning, either abroad or while present in Canada, it is at officer's discretion to ask for supporting documents. Now guys, distance learning is sometimes an issue in express entry, and the officer may ask for more documents, and the instruction here is, if it is determined that the applicant obtained more than 50% of their education via distance learning, they should not be awarded additional CRS points for having a Canadian education credential. If the reduction in CRS points results in applicant having score below the minimum, the application should be refused as per A11.2. So A11.2 basically is the section under which they ensure that you meet the scores under which you were invited. You have those scores. If you fall below those cutoffs, your application will be denied. If there is an ECA, you need to provide the ECA reference number in the application itself. The scanned copy of ECA is not required when submitting the application for permanent residence. Applicants are instructed to indicate their education was completed by correspondence by typing in brackets by correspondence on the same line as the education institution name found in the education background. The discretion remains with the officer to decide if a police certificate is required for country or the education institute. So guys, again, here this is about distance education. So if you've done distance education, then IRCC wants you to declare it in their in the application form by writing by correspondence in the bracket. Guys, the next document is the provincial or territorial certificate of qualification. There is 50 points at max that you can get for a certificate of qualification, and this is what this document is for. The document is requested if an applicant indicates that they have a certificate of qualification, and you need to provide a copy of certificate of qualification. In that case, there's not much information about it. It's just you need to provide your certificate of qualification that the provincial or territorial body or the federal body has issued you. Letter of offer from the employer. Now guys, this is only required if you are claiming points for any job offer, or if you are using an LMIA based job offer to meet the minimum eligibility requirement. For the job offer, you need to provide a letter of from the employer offering the job in Canada, which is on company letterhead, includes your name, your company's contact information, name, title, signature of the authorized personnel, and then it should include your expected start date, commitment that the applicant will be employed on a continuous paid full-time work for at least 1 year after the PR visa is issued, and also should include title, duties and responsibilities, current job status, number of hours worked per week, and annual salary and benefits. If there is an LMIA associated, the offer of employment, the LMIA number needs to be provided. You don't need to provide a scanned copy of LMIA with the application. However, most people end up providing it anyways. Now again, this would not apply because LMIA points have been removed, but in cases, even if you are using the job offer to meet the minimum requirements, then you need this. Next is proof of funds. Now guys, if you are not eligible under CC, you require this, and for this you need to provide official letter from one or more financial institutes that list all your bank and investment accounts as well as outstanding debts, any debts that you have. And along with that, you need to essentially that letter must include information about you, your name, contact information for the financial institute, the account number, the date the account was open, and the average balance for the last 6 months. So they want to see what average balance you've maintained in the last 6 months, and if you meet the like on the basis of that. Use of rep, this is only needed if you hire a representative. If you don't, you can skip this thing. Evidence of common law. Now guys, this is again, if say that you are in a common law relation, you need to provide this, and for this you need to provide a statutory declaration of common law union 5409. This is the most important thing, and on top of that, you need to provide some evidence that you are common law partners, so you have cohabited for 12 months, and you can provide joint bank account statement, copies of lease, utility bills, etc. to prove this. Want to make your immigration journey easy and smooth? Want to improve your chances of getting permanent residence in Canada? Go today and sign up for our immigration partner app. app.fhn.ca. Go sign up for an account. You can put your basic information and you can get amazing suggestions with regards to how you can improve your scores. You can obtain document templates, you can obtain photo editing tools, and you can obtain general information about Canadian immigration and much more to come with regards to PNP eligibilities, knockcode reviews, etc. etc. So pause right here, go to app.vision.ca, sign up for the application. Marriage certificate, very simple, or just the marriage certificate is required. It should be valid under the law of the country where it took place and under Canadian law. And this is for the marriage to be valid. This is a standard thing. You need to provide a marriage certificate from either Canada or from the country you got married in, and that's about it. Divorce, if you are divorced, if you are separated, you need to provide proof of that. If you are divorced, then you need a divorce certificate. However, if you are separated, then you need to provide some copy of legal separation agreement in order for your application to proceed. Now, we've seen certain cases where applicants are separated from their spouse, but they're not divorced yet. Now, in this case, IRCC is asking for separation agreements or some proof of separation. In certain cases, you're not on a talking terms, you cannot ask for documents from your spouse. In that case, you can explain that to the officer, to IRCC, and either ask for more time for your divorce to settle or request them to continue processing the application without official divorce documents. Death certificate, to validate claim of death or spouse or common law partner. If you say that you're widowed, then you need to provide the death certificate. So again, from whichever country the death certificate is, you just provide the death certificate and you provide a scanned copy of that. Adoption, again, if you have a child that is adopted, you need to provide adoption certificate. Now, this may not apply to a lot of you guys. Other documents, so this one becomes very important, proof of relationship to a relative. Now, guys, all of you know that for sibling, you get 15 points in Canada. And in order to claim those points, you need to provide proof, right? And the document required here is for applicants, you need to prove that they are a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. The applicant sibling. And for this, you need both sides of either their Canadian citizenship document or birth certificate or their permanent resident card if they're a permanent resident. You need to provide that they currently reside in Canada, and for that you can provide a residential lease, mortgage, utility bill, etc. to prove their address in Canada. This document must be dated within the last 6 months before you apply for the application. So just make sure it's not a year-old utility bill. It should be recent. It should be recent bill. Proof of relationship. So you need to provide your birth certificate. So basically, in order to prove your relationship to your sibling, you can provide a birth certificate or an official document naming the applicant as a relative. You can provide copy of the inside back cover of your passport. So Indian passports have parents' name listed. For you and your sibling, both will have the same parents to prove that you are in fact siblings. Again, there are other documents you can use if you don't have birth certificate or passport. If you claim a step brother or step sister, there should be no evidence that the application the marriage or common law relationship between the parents of the step brother has broken down. So if say that the sibling is a step sibling, in order to claim points, the marriage between your parent and the parent of your step brother or sister must still be valid. It should not have broken down. If it is, then you won't get the points. Digital photo, this is pretty straightforward. You need to provide a photo that meets the permanent resident card specification. And lastly, if you have used any other name, you need to provide explanation for that. It could be either a letter of explanation or a legal name change document. In a lot of cases, folks have used a nickname or folks have had a misspelled name in some of the old documents. So you can provide a letter of explanation in that case. This documents don't really apply to most of the people, so we'll just skip for the interest of time. Alright guys, so if say there are documents which no other fields or don't appear in the checklist but your application requires them, just put them in the client info. So that's it guys. In short, we've gone over all the documents that are required and what needs to be uploaded in each slot for express entry. Now, not all the documents would apply to you, but the ones that apply, we've gone over step by step because it was a long list, so didn't spend much time on every single document. But this gives you an idea of what is required for an express entry application. If you're planning to apply, you can go through this video, and by going through, you would see that, okay, what documents are the ones that you need to work on, what documents you already have, and how to go about all of this. So hopefully this video gave you a primer on that. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you like the content of this video guys, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you are notified about any new video that we upload. Again, if you would require any assistance for your express entry or any other immigration application, you can feel free to get in touch with us. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot guys for watching this video till the end. I would request you to do 3 things kindly. Number 1 is to subscribe to this channel. You subscribing to this channel allows us to create more and more informative videos and improve the content that we deliver. Secondly, please mention in the comment section what you liked about this video, what you disliked about this video, and what would you like us to cover next, so that we cover what you want to see and we don't make the same mistakes again. Thirdly, I would request you to kindly share this or any one video from our channel with any one friend of yours, because one piece of information can change someone's life. Thank you very much and keep watching FHC Ending.